Hey, and we back as if we never left. Power, peace, beautiful being. The mind is a precious place. Make sure you know how to get there. I don't want to make this video long, and you have seen the title. Yes, women don't understand men, but this is also not taught to us. I'm not trying to be funny in no way, shape, or form. It is because we don't understand one another for ourselves that social media can make us think anything, and that is a literal anything, and that's bad. Because men don't understand why women don't understand men. So this video is for everybody. We are eternal, and that is not a something but a substance. And that is something that we really need to understand because you need the elements of fire, water, air, and earth fused together for you to have that substance that we call ether. And just as how we know that these elemental energies, so that substance that we call fire, its energy we perceive as hot. The one that we call air, its energy we perceive as cold. The substance that we call water, its energy we perceive as wet. That substance that we call earth, its energy we perceive as dry. And when we put those together, that substance we call ether and its energy we call spirit. So before, you know what? I think that I'm going to just give me 1 second. And we back as if we never left. I tried to make it work. I couldn't get it to work. So as I was saying, I'm going to pick up where I left off and we're going to kick off this video. We are eternal. Now, let's take this as eternal. Back to the all, which I would call the all, creator, whatever. Ether. That is where we need to get an understanding of. Why? Because once you become conscious, what you do is you single yourself out. Now, you single yourself out. This is the first thing that we do. That's what we call ether. That's what we all. It doesn't matter what color, what race. So racism need to go out of the window anytime soon. Because once you understand this, you will actually understand how petty racism actually is. Here it is where we single ourselves out. Once we single ourselves out, air, fire, water, and earth. Once, why am I dark like this? Okay, we back. We good. We good. Once we single ourselves out, 1 second. I got you. And we back as if we never left. Over here, once we single ourselves out, yeah, we start becoming heavy in density. Yeah, this is our lightest form. Light. Let's remember that because I can also tell you at the beginning, and then there was light. Light. But what we are talking about right now is light in density. Once we single ourselves out, that is us becoming conscious of ourselves, not aware. Aware is light. We are aware of the light. We are aware of this board because we can see it. If this board were to be behind this wall, we cannot see it. And if if we would not know that it is there, we cannot be conscious of this wall, of this board behind this wall, until we get behind the wall and see this board there. And once we see it, we are aware of it, not conscious. So conscious is behind the scenes, and aware is what we see, actually see with our senses. Now, stay with me. Once we become heavy in density because we have singled ourselves out, yeah, from what we would call the all. We have decided, yeah, to start experiencing for ourselves. But the spirit, what we are going to call the spirit, yeah, has no body, has no eyes, has no ears, has none of that. So what we are doing is singling ourselves out so we can keep, literally keep to ourselves. But that makes us heavy in density. Once we reach this stage, once Once we reach this stage, we have accumulated so much what we are going to call energy. That is why in the beginning I said ether is a substance. It is not a something, but a substance. That same substance, ether, what we are going to do is we are going to use itself to build these walls around us. These walls are what we call air, fire, water, and earth, the elements. This on this side is what we would call the fall, and on this side is what we are going to call ascension. Now, whenever we reach this stage, because we are building these walls around us, we become, because what are we doing? Sticking to ourselves. So over here, what do we become? Internal. Now, this is the part where I need you to stick with me. This energy, yeah, it's energy is what we perceive as cold, but the substance is what we decided to call air. The substance is called air, and its energy we perceive as cold. The substance is called fire, and the energy we perceive as hot. The substance is what we call water, and its energy we perceive it as wet. The energy is the substance is what we call earth, and the energy is what we perceive as dry. This substance is what we call ether, and its energy we perceive it or call it spirit. And once we reach this stage, because we are keeping to ourselves, but we have accumulated so much in density, so that you can see that that is a 6. We have accumulated so much in density that now we became internal, and this is what we in this third dimension call the mind. And after this stage, we continue to accumulate. We are not born yet, so we continue to accumulate. We continue to accumulate until we reach what we here are calling the third dimension. Once we start the fall, we get born through what we would call a body. And once we are born through that body, now we start what we would call physical death. And once we are falling, what we are doing is going towards a state what we would call, y'all know what it is, spiritual death. Spiritual death, physical birth. Physical death, spiritual birth. Physical birth, spiritual birth. I know that it doesn't look all too, I don't know, professional and all of that, but I just hope that the message reached you. And I actually really think that we should have had at least some of this in school. But hey, we're here now. Welcome to the Brain Space channel. Well, at one point, the knowledge is just going to be waiting for people. See me work. I'm just at work right now. Listen. Because now we have a completely different understanding when I say we are eternal energy. Eternal energy. Eternal energy. So much that once we become conscious and we single ourselves out, it crosses dimensions. I didn't put the fourth one out yet. The fifth one. The seventh one, and the eighth one. So much energy that it crosses dimensions. Yeah, from the ninth till the first and back. This fall and ascension of the substance that we call life force, that happens at every minute, every second, every day, that is what we would call Kundalini energy. The phase that I am explaining to you right now is before all of that is what we are calling these things. This is before earth, air and earth at the same time, earth. Now, this is before fire, water, air, and earth are fire, water, air, and earth. We call them these things when we are ascending. But in the state of falling, we actually experience them in their rawest nature, the substance. Just like our inside. It is as within, so without. Now, we have air running through us. We have fire igniting in us, our ideas, our visions. That is a fire nature. Your passion, that is a fire nature. The whole planet Mars, that is a fire nature. You have your waters. Inside of us, there are so many different form of liquids inside of us. It's ridiculous. From acid to pee to blood, like all different type of waters. And earth, this we are matter in the flesh walking around. If you know, you know. Whenever we become what we would call physical, I forgot to put that up, because once we become external, we perceive that as being physical. And the reason why I'm telling all of this is because this is the part that is important for women. The first dimension is a masculine force. The second dimension is a feminine space. And force and space creates a new fruit. This is this body. Fourth generates thought. But just like the first, the fourth is a masculine force. So out here, this is what we would call the right side of the brain, the feminine side, the spiritual side, the etc. and etc. Very simple, surface level. This side of the fall is as within, and this side that we experience, that we use to die through, that is as without. We get born from the inside and we die through the outside. As within, so shall it be without, and not the way around. Now, which means this first one is a masculine force, this fourth one is a masculine force, and this seventh one is a masculine force. This second one is a feminine space. This fifth one is also a feminine space, but in this reality that we live right now, to use one word and to keep it as surface level as possible, soul. And this is a feminine space. And these are things that if we don't know them, we live life completely backwards. But we will get back to that. Just give me a second. We already have broken down what we call the mind. This one is the dimension of creation. And over here, on the inside, on the inside, internal, yeah, after we pass this dimension, we literally create the mind. When we are in the dying state, in this state, the third dimensional state, here it is where you find God. But we will come back to that. Stick with me. The eighth dimension, over here, it is where you establish what we will call our natures. This is my philosophy, my words. I would like to call this the canvas. Before you can create anything, you need a canvas. Nature is the canvas of creation. It is within nature that creation is created. Before nature, there was no creation. So first, we singled ourselves out, we created our natures, and then we created what we wanted within our natures. And now we went from all the way, from the bottom all the way to the top, but from the inside. Now, on the outside, what we perceive on the outside is that the first and the second dimension are inside us. The first and the second are inside of the body. Okay, so I'm going to start over again, but now it is already drawn out. So what we got here at the first dimension on the inside, this is masculine force that manifests that reigns in this dimension. But on the outside, this is what we perceive as life force. Life force, excuse me, is very self-explanatory. But at the second dimension, this is a feminine space. We know how women feel. Every woman feels different, man. But hey, we know what it is. So even though this dimension correlates our sense of value throughout civilizations, this one has gotten so many different names. For instance, the scale of Ma'at, measuring the heart against the feather. Astrological meaning would be up here. Physical meaning would be down here. And the physical meaning is that you have to know that your value lies inside of you, and that the outside of you is what you get to cherish. It is because that we are what we are on the inside, the outside looks the way that it looks. And the first dimension and the second dimension are inside of the third dimension. And just like that, the third, the fourth, and the fifth are inside of the sixth. and the seventh and the eighth are inside of the ninth. The first is a masculine force, the fourth that is masculine force. So guess what? Out here, what do you get on the outside of us? You get religion, you get schools, you get libraries, you get government, you get militaries, you get war. This is a masculine reigning force. Then you get soul. Now, whenever I write it on the outside, maybe it makes a little bit more sense. So, hang with me. We got the third dimensional body. This one we use to do what? Can y'all see it? Because my writing is pretty crooked. But right here, what am I saying? Experience. That is where we built this, what we call avatar for, to experience our creation with. Now, once we come to the fourth dimension over here, you get education. And we're not talking about going to school and get a degree. Nah, it doesn't matter if it is to walk, it doesn't matter what it is. First, we use the third dimensional body to perceive, to see somebody do that. That brings thought inside of us. And once we're going to act that out, this is us learning first from our mistakes until we get it right. That is us using this, what we call avatar, as a school to learn true. You are your first teacher, you are your first book, you are your first university, you are your first professor, you are your first everything. But we will get to that. Hang with me. I don't know why the screen became darker, but as long as y'all can see what I'm writing, we cool. Because I'm gonna go further up. So okay, we use the third dimensional, how would you call it? We use this third dimensional reality to experience. We use the fourth dimensional reality to educate ourselves. We use the fifth dimensional reality to entertain ourselves. This might sound low vibrational, but this is a real thing. That is why every child is kept happy through playing. A child needs to play. Where does this need come from? It's beyond thought. A child doesn't have to think to play. If it wants to play, it just plays. This is a feminine energy, a feminine nature. And once we reach the sixth, this one is religion. And it doesn't matter what your religion is. Your religion could be anything that you are into. Your religion could, what this world calls a religion, a religious denomination, whatever it is, Islam, whatever. But you have people saying music is my religion, my passion, my gift is my religion. I don't know why it became dark like this, but I'm not going to start all over again. And I don't know what else, bitch. Don't do that shit. What the fuck was that? Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So, where was I left? Once we reach the mind, yeah, once we reach what we would call the mind, over here, we build your religion. Whatever you are going to invest most of your time in, that is your religion. And you, internal, this is where you have built your box. And your box is either your prison or your present. And when you come out, you are either a gift to the world or, yeah, what comes out of a prison. Y'all know what comes out of a prison? A beast. A beast comes out of a prison. Because the prison is not a correctional center, or whatever they call it. It's not that at all. We know what it is. So what comes out of a prison? You better make sure that your box is a present, because we naturally come here through a box. And we are all here. We are already here. So we already did this. And we are here now. We came out, yeah, we came out into this reality, and now we are experiencing physical reality. And within this physical reality, we educate ourselves, we entertain ourselves, we decide if we want to side with a external religion or an internal religion. But it is within your external or internal religion that you get to know this one, God. And I'm not gonna go into deep in this one. Not this video, not today. You know what I mean? Not today. We're not gonna go into deep into this one today. Not today. But again, just as the second one, yeah, the eighth one has throughout civilizations a whole lot of different names. But what are we sure about? That this is what we would call Mother Nature. Whenever we start talking about Mother Nature, we start talking about fire, water, air, and earth as elements and all that stuff, and yada yada and etc. To put it all just in one word and to keep it surface level, this is what we call Mother Nature. And after Mother Nature, this is what we call the light. And if you understand this bit, you'll be able to recite all civilizations, their Genesis story basically. First, there was light. Yeah. The spirit became conscious of itself, and it started to accumulate what we would call elemental energies, which made it heavy in density and started descending, or what we call falling. First, there was light. Now, the first thing that we do is create the canvas. But whenever you read such thing as a Bible, what will it tell you? We are going to separate the heavens and the seas and the horizons and all, and the seas from the earth. This is this creation, what we are going to call these elements. We separate them from each other so that we can have a canvas to create on. Because after the waters and the skies and the earths and them have been separated from each other and giving their own spot, let's put it like that, now we get creation. Man gets made, animals gets made, fish get made, birds get thrown into the air, and all of the good stuff, all that good stuff. And then all of a sudden, men start asking questions, right? Like, what is all this good stuff? Men start asking questions. And it doesn't matter if you go to a university, it doesn't matter if you go to a mosque, it doesn't matter if you go to a church, it doesn't matter if you go to a school, primary school, it doesn't matter if you go to a university, you will always get an answer to your question in something that looks like this. You would call it a book, but it's just a box to keep you in there. And yeah, we good like this. We don't have to break this further down, because what we need to know is what has gone on in our inside so that we know what we are doing here on the outside. And as a feminine being, you can see that we naturally have to come by this station, and you naturally start skipping the first. So a man would always say that he needs a woman, but a woman, she has to literally value. That is, we feel that value. So literally, a man, if life force is going to upgrade up until thought, a man has to know. But if value is going to lead all the way up until soul, then a woman has to feel. And that is something that you cannot social engineer. A man has to know that he wants a woman, and a woman has to feel that she wants a man. And that is where it gets tricky. Because you cannot social engineer our natures, but you can definitely trick our thoughts and feelings. Now, if you understand what I just tried to break down, how these are masculine and feminine energies making a androgynous being, a being that can be whatever it chooses to be, you can understand how it hits when you hear women say things like, I don't need a man. Slowly but sure, little that you know, that is the end of how we get here. So the only thing that I can say is, so the only thing that I can say is, a man is supposed to know that he needs a woman, but a woman is supposed to feel that she needs a man. We cannot teach you that, and no system, oppressor, or matrix can take that away from you. That is your nature, and you own it, and we exist, or you push it away, and we slowly but sure, as we can clearly see around ourselves, around the whole planet, we are ceasing to exist. Now we live in a reality. It is the first time in history of mankind that women are saying we don't need a man. And we can see how quick we are perishing because of that. Positive power, prosperous peace. Salute to you. The mind is a beautiful, you see, the mind is a beautiful place. Know how to get there. I'll see you on the next one. Biggest Brain signing out. One.